So they told us that wealth was locked behind boardroom doors that we would never enter. That freedom was preserved for the privileged, the connected, and the already rich. But let me tell you something, that was a lie. See, we are the generation that's rewriting the rule book. See, we don't need $1 million fund. We don't need a landlord's permission. But what we do need is a blueprint, y'all. That's exactly what I'm about to lay down. This is Airbnb Pro Tips, and I am your host, Earl McCray. Every week, we're breaking down real game from real entrepreneurs on how to launch, automate, and scale that Airbnb business. We're giving you the strategies, the money moves, and the mindset shifts that will separate those from the dreams from those who are executing on those dreams. Here, we celebrate the wins, both big and small. Here, we talk to real entrepreneurs, the one that took action and changed their lives. Here, we're giving you the blueprint so that you can stop watching and start building. So, if you're ready to tap into your God-given ability to turn knowledge into passive income, to create a system that works for you instead of you working for it, hey, welcome home. This is where transformation begins. This is where faith meets execution. This is where you level up your Airbnb game. This is Airbnb Pro Tips. Gonna be getting started in a moment. All right, let's get started. All right, episode 81, Airbnb Pro Tips. All right, let's get into this thing. All right, so far it's me and Dante. Everybody else is asleep at the wheel, but we're gonna keep this thing going. Dante, how you doing, brother? Mic check. Mic check, mic check. I don't hear your, looks like you might be muted, Dante. All right, well, if you can share anything around what your wins for the week might be or are, that would be great. I'm gonna keep rolling. Because I know we have a couple people online, and I want to make sure we deliver a quality program here. All right, so with respect to our weekly wins, Dante, if you do want to come off of mute and share your wins, go right ahead. But I will actually get mine out of the way. Your health is your wealth, people. Went in and had my eyes checked. A couple I would say about a year or two ago. My I had a scare around diabetes. I got really aggressive with that. Hired a dietitian, and one of the things with diabetes is they want to make sure that your vision is not affected. So went in. Although my eyes, I definitely need glasses, but my eyes are not getting any weaker, y'all. So that's a win for me. Definitely, um, I do need the glasses to read, but in terms of needing them to drive and such, no issues there. So that's a win. And then for those that don't know, I had some significant challenges with my weight for the last 10 years. About 3 years ago, I decided to get what's called bariatric bypass surgery. In which case, for a while, I was telling everybody I was 100K up on 100 pounds down because of some of the shifts in lifestyle. So went in for my monthly checkup and my yearly checkup for the bariatric surgery. And I'm excited, y'all, because I had taken all the weight off, and then I started slowly putting it back on. And so from last year to now, I was able to keep weight off, and I actually went down about 20 pounds. So that's exciting for me. So that's where I am right now in terms of wins. Let me see if anybody else has made themselves available to come in and share their wins. Dante, what about you, man? What's your wins for the week, brother?
Can you hear me?
I got you, man. You loud and clear, King.
Thank you. One of my wins for this week is I just recently sent a contract to a property owner. So hopefully I could get that signed as soon as possible. And I also have to draw up another contract for another property owner as well too. So I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, I get those contracts signed so I can move forward with the process of growing my business.
Oh man, that's wonderful news, King. That's wonderful news. And it's gonna happen, brother. It's gonna happen. Whether this contract results in a property or not is all about you, like just seeing yourself already, man. You're climbing the mountain. And as long as you just keep going one step, another step, a third step, you're getting higher on the mountain. You will get to the summit. So don't worry about it, King. Keep up the good work. Cornell, what about you, brother? What are your wins for the week?
Yes, sir. My check, my check. My wins for the week is actually you probably already know I'm actually reached out, like Dante, I reached out to a few property owners and I found some good actual prospects with great numbers with the whole co-hosted model. So that's a win more than one. And the numbers look really good and they're in the good areas where everything's short-term rental friendly. So that's a major win for the business side. Definitely getting shifting to that whole co-hosting model and having those actual showing that I'm working and that's actually paying off to get people to reach back out to me, interested in what I got to offer and bring to the table. Another one I have for this week is also when it comes to health. Just staying disciplined, getting up, and I've been getting up early in the morning and getting in the gym like 5 a.m. when it's still dark outside, which feels great because it's like I'm ahead of the day. So that's another help right there. So that's 2 wins for this week that I'm real happy about. That's showing progress.
You keep at it, man. I'm gonna tell you, Cornell, man. If I could turn back the hands of time, man, I would have been more deliberate with my health. It seems like you have a good kind of rhythm, man. Stay at it, man. Stay at it, because your health is your wealth, brother.
Yep.
Yep. All right, all right. So here's what I want to do right now. I didn't see anybody else pop on. If you do, let me know. Put some in the chat. But we're gonna get in to some of the items that I've selected that's in the news cycle. So let's get into it, right? Now, I always mention that there are several phases of your business. There's the launch phase, phase one. There's the automate phase. I call it phase two. And then there's the scale phase. I call that phase three. That's where Cornell and myself are. We already have a successful property, but now we're trying to, multiply and duplicate that out. So I selected some articles in each one of the phases because I want to talk about it. These are either articles I saw in the news cycle, or a lot of times in the community, when you guys reach out to me with questions, always great questions, by the way. I love the fact that the community really makes me stretch, especially if it's not something that I faced myself directly, then I'm gonna go research it, because that's what you do. But a lot of this stuff is great because I have kind of experienced it. So in this first article, it talks about the data. We decide what properties make good short-term rentals based on the data. And if you don't know exactly what to look for in the data, we're going to get into it and help people out right now. All right. So let's take a look at this video. And I'm going to have Dante talk a little bit about it because this was actually inspired by my man Cornell. Let's go.
Hey, Earl, do these numbers look good to pursue for short-term rental properties?
Cornell, these numbers don't just look good, they look profitable. Each property breaks even within 10 days. Valley Ave Day 8, Walnut St. Day 9, Getaway Dr. Day 9. That means 20-plus days of pure profit territory each month. All three are solid candidates for high-performing STRs. Let's dive into setup costs, furnishing and automation tools. Let's build. Final word from Earl: the STR game isn't just about finding a cute property. It's about understanding the math behind the move. When a home covers its mortgage by day 8 or 9, that's not just a green light. That's a blueprint for scalable profit. If the numbers say you're in the clear within the first 10 days, then everything after that becomes opportunity income. Room to reinvest, automate, or expand your portfolio. That's what we're playing for. Cash flow, freedom, and legacy. Need help running the next set of numbers or structuring the deal for co-hosting, arbitrage, or ownership? Tap in. I'll walk with you from evaluation to execution. Let's turn those numbers into next moves.
All right. I chime in, Dante. What was your takeaway on that segment?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So from that segment, it was just being a smart businessman. So basically, with that being said, you just have to invest into the right areas and the right property so you could be able to make the most money you can from the property. Because at the end of the day, it's all about making profit. And not only for us, but also the homeowners as well. So we just have to be smart with what investments we choose to partake in.
All right, all right. Cornell, build on top of that because Dante he scratched the surface, but there's a little bit more meat on that bone.
I had got the same thing as Dante, really. when it comes to that data-driven breakdown for STR investors, looking at the numbers and everything. So I'm along the same lines, but yeah, Earl, fill me in what you came in about.
Yeah, for sure. I think this is important for people to know. And I'm not gonna like break it out with whiteboard and stuff, but I want to talk about it from the standpoint of this. We want to run a business that's cash flowing within the first 10 days of the calendar. So how do we know that? How do we know if it's going to cash flow within the first 10 days? Real simple. We ask ourselves, what is the average daily rate that that property is generating? Now, we got two things we can work in. We can work with a tool called B&B Analyzer, and that analyzer will actually rip it off for us, you know, and we can run. Or, you know, we can go old school. And this is how I used to do it before I knew about the B&B Analyzer. I would actually get on Airbnb. I would go to the address I was interested in, and I would look at the properties that were around that address, and I would make sure I punched in the comparables, make sure I punched in the number of bedrooms, the number of baths, the total guests that can be accommodated. And then what I would look at is I would look at that geographic area, right? 5-10 mile radius. And I would say, take 5 properties, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pool them together, all right, and find the average of their daily nightly rate. So say for example, that nightly rate is $300, and the monthly rent, the lease that the landlord wants, is $4,000. I would ask myself, $4,000 divided by 300. How many nights would I have to have the place rented out in order to have the rent paid off? Y'all tracking me? So do that math for me real quick. What's $4,000 divided by 300?
So that's 13 nights.
13 nights. Ding, 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 ding. So I got to have the place rented 13 nights before it's profitable. That's a red flag for me. Why? Because I'm a conservative guy. I want to be able to cash flow only 10 nights. What is 10 nights? As a percentage, 10 nights represent a 30% occupancy. Not 50%, not 40%, 30% occupancy. Why? Because I'm a conservative guy. I want to plan for the worst, but expect the best. So in that situation, in that scenario, Dante, 13 nights, am I going to grab that opportunity? Or am I going to pass on it?
Based on your philosophy, yeah, pass on it because you want to be profitable within 10 days.
I would pass on it. And the only reason I recommend people to pass on it is because the worst thing to do is get into a contract and not be able to produce, right? Because we have a 90-day performance window. If we're not producing in that 90-day window, they're going to walk away. We're going to walk away. But we put all that energy, all that time, all that setting up these systems. And the truth of the matter, it may not be about you. It may be the seasonality of the cycle. I mean, did you get the property at the top of the cycle when the demand is high? Or did you get the property going down when the demand is going from extremely high to really low? Historically, across most short-term rental markets, September represents a slowdown in the seasonal demand. So a lot of times when we look at our tables, look at our graphs, we'll see our slow period will start in September. It'll go back up for Q3, Q4, and then it'll dip back down in January. So the takeaway, the lesson is this. All right, if the property is $3,000 or less, and my average daily rate is $300, ding, 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 that's gonna mean I can actually generate the profits within that first 10 days. I love 7 days, I love 8 days, 9 days, we'll work with it. But anything more than 10 days, I'm gonna say no mas. I would walk away. All right. Does that make more sense now that I kind of broke it out like Barney style, Dante Cornell?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, like, look, but if you got a great market, don't let McCray's, get anybody scared. If you're in a great market, if you're in a market that has no up season, down season, go ahead and roll the dice. But when you look at those tables, when you see occupancy 70, 80%, and then you see occupancy dip to like 20, 30%, I would be conservative. Amen. All right. Let's talk about the next conversation. So we have phase 1, which is launching. Now we have phase 2, which is automating that short-term rental business. And we had the blessing of helping Chris get his first opportunity launched last week. First thing that we did was we looked at the photos that the landlord gave us. They weren't good, y'all. They were really, really bad. So we had to go out and we had to use a service to get these for professional photos. So this was some information that I created with that in mind. So hold on for a moment.
Hosts, brace yourselves. Airbnb's new 15.5% fee goes live October 27th, and it's all on you. So, what's changing?
Oh, I didn't want to talk about this yet. We'll come back to that. We'll have to come back. This is a big one. We'll come back to that. I got the wrong video in the wrong spot.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay. I definitely got the wrong video in the wrong spot. This one is not at all what I just mentioned. This is talking about automating your business, but instead of photos. This is still important though. You automate your business not just through photos, but being hands-off. So I want you to take a look at this, Dante and Cornell, and give me some thoughts on it. All right. Had nothing to do with photos though.
Hey, Earl. How do we automate our smart locks and make sure guests always get the right code at the right time, without us having to babysit the process? Everybody worries about lockouts and last-minute code texts. But what if you could automate it all? Let's make your smart locks run themselves. Seriously. First, check your lock. Yale model installed? First, check your lock. Schlage model installed? First, check your lock. August model installed? First, check your lock. Igloo Home model installed? Make sure it's set up in the Yale Access app or set it up in the TT Lock app. Next, jump into Hospitable's devices dashboard now. Connect your lock account with one click, and you're synced. Locks appear in Hospitable instantly. Now add the magic. Insert %smartlock_code %tag. Hospitable creates unique time-bound codes for every guest. Set your code windows to control access timing. Hospitable handles the rest. No manual steps needed. You'll see battery status right inside Hospitable. You'll see lock status right inside Hospitable too. No surprises, no frantic calls ever again. Want to scale your Airbnb without operational stress? Automate your locks and free up your time. Give guests VIP entry. No more babysitting ever. Earl's final word to hosts. If you're scaling or even managing more than one property, smart lock automation is not a luxury. It's a lifeline. And if you're already using Hospitable, this is a no-brainer. Set it once and let the system do the heavy lifting. Need help wiring this into your SOPs, onboarding your VA, or choosing the right lock brand? I got you. Let's build your system once so it works for you every day.
All right, let's get into this. Come off of mute, Cornell, Dante. Talk to me what your thoughts on this.
Yeah, good thoughts when it comes to this actual automation locks, which is so true because you want to have a system when it comes to automated locks to actually be able to actually work for you systematically, setting your codes up automatically with the Hospitable app, getting that last 4 digits, every guest phone number coming in, which is good because you don't have to babysit them. And it's so good with this because even with the Hospitable app, you actually can set a code from your lock and it can actually send out that right along with your checking instructions. And it's good because you don't have to work with any lock boxes where people can lose keys, or you can even, if you have a Yale lock, for example, you can even control it from the access of your home right from your phone. So you can lock it right from your phone from here. You can lock it from anywhere, as long as you're connected to a Wi-Fi signal, you can actually control that lock, and it actually systemizes it and automates your visits even better for you to be hands off without actually doing the whole lockbox stuff or any crazy things like that, being really super hands on and not using technology and
Absolutely.
leveraging.
Absolutely. Dante, what's your takeaway?
So when I was doing rental arbitrage, the property that I had in the Davenport area, I used a quick set unlock, and it was a lifesaver. I really didn't have any issues with that. I think the most common issue that was explained to me by the guests were, it was like kind of confusing because like some locks you'll have to you'll have to approach it, and then it'll be like certain numbers that light up. You have to press those numbers and then you put in a code and then you press the check mark and then it'll open up. So it just really depends on which one you have, but regardless, they are very simple to use and they are very effective as well. Especially when you have the app on your phone, like Cornell stated, because you can control it from anywhere. And then on top of that, at least for me, um, I had the feature where after like 2 or 3 minutes, it automatically locks by itself. So
Yeah.
they're definitely a lifesaver.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Now I'm gonna tell you guys, all money is not good money. Just like I'm asking you guys to walk away from a potential deal if it takes you 11, 12, 13 days to get that lease covered. I'm gonna ask you to walk away from a deal if you have because we're trying to do this remote, right? We're trying to do this without needing to be in the same city, right? I would actually encourage you to kill a deal if you have a landlord that's saying, "Hey, I'm pretty happy with the smart the lockbox system," and he's not willing to act on your recommendation. And that might seem crazy, but I'm gonna tell you, there is no price tag on peace of mind. You feel me? And the moment you or your guest has an issue with either a lost key or a lock that's jammed or whatever, and you don't have the ability or the capacity to touch a button and reset and get them in, you're just creating a world of extra work, extra craziness on your end. And I'm not sure if you guys saw the episode that we had a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, where not Airbnb, but VRBO, they are doubling down. Any issues with guests having entry to the property, 100% refund for the guest, even if you work it out on the back end, and you're going to get a penalty. All money's not good money, y'all. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. So you wouldn't do lock boxes.
I would not do lock boxes.
Yeah.
Not if I'm trying to manage remotely.
No.
Nope. All right, let's get into the next segment. All right, I see a chat. Okay. Yep, no problem. All right. Let's take a look at this here. All right, there. Okay. And this, we're actually in the third set, the scale. Okay, so we've automated the business, we've launched the business. Now we're trying to scale your business. And you guys have been, you'll probably hear me say this a million times, but you don't just want heads and beds, you want experiences. And this co-host that I keep bringing y'all back to is going to be a lifesaver when you're ready to get to that next stage of going beyond the heads and beds and generating that experience. So we're going to play that right now.
Hey, Earl, how do we set up one of those in-home guest stores you keep mentioning?
I got you. If you're looking to boost revenue, elevate the guest experience, and stand out from the competition, adding a virtual storefront with the Host Co. is one of the smartest moves you can make. Let me break it down for you. Step 1. Create your free Host Co. account at thehost.co. Step 2. Link your property listing. Host Co. generates a custom storefront URL for you. Step 3. Add your items and services. Snacks, drinks, wine, s'mores kits, in-home services like massage, private chef, or experience upsells like late checkout, early check-in, romantic setups. Step 4. Customize availability. You control which items are listed, when they're visible, and purchase timing. Step 5. When guests order, you get notified automatically. Vendors get separate emails with delivery details. Step 6. Share your link and welcome guides, check-in emails, or QR codes at your property. Guests discover and book upsells they never knew existed. Zero tech headaches. Host Co. builds everything for you. Earn more from every stay without raising your base rate. Turn your rental into a revenue machine, one guest upgrade at a time. Final word from Earl. The STR game is evolving, and the winners are the ones who offer more than just a place to sleep. So if you want to earn more per guest without raising your base rate, setting up your Host Co. store is a no-brainer. Need help curating your first store or automating your messaging flow? Tap in. I'll walk you through it step by step. Let's turn your rental into a revenue machine. One guest upgrade at a time. EP.
Okay. Come on for mute for me, gentlemen. What are we seeing here? What are we seeing here?
What I'm seeing here is just honestly just the game evolving, and it's the same thing like with technology. You either get with it or you get left behind, you know? So at the end of the day, you have to adapt if you want to go in this business and scale.
You're either gonna get left back or you're gonna evolve with the business cycle. For sure. Cornell.
Yeah, definitely. Really just doing more than the average. Just having a person's having a place to lay their head. You're actually finding those extra services on your own with your own brand, using your own QR codes, using your own services through Host Code, giving those extra those extra services through your own partnerships with locals around your area, and just building your own and just just trampoline off of these short-term rental platforms. So that's what I see. Just getting to the next level and thinking 5 steps ahead. So definitely it's a good game to actually be ahead and just to actually be doing your own thing while utilizing what you have for working on your own things. That's definitely what I see.
So here's the interesting thing about Host Code. So Host Code kind of came up with this idea 5-6 years ahead of where Airbnb is right now, around being able to help curate experiences and services. But then they didn't just pigeonhole themselves and make it only accessible to folks using Airbnb. They allow any player, whether it's booking.com, Expedia, hotels.com. So what you'll find is you setting up properties in different areas. When you create this virtual store, the key ingredient is they need the address and the area code. Because once they have the area code locked in, they can pull in, okay, so based on this area code, we got a vendor here, we got a vendor here, vendor here, vendor here, vendor here. You may have another property, in the same area, but maybe a couple miles, you know, um, say a half an hour to an hour south or north, different vendors because it's a different area code. That's pretty dope. It really is. Because then now what that does is you don't actually, it's great to be the local expert, but what if you have properties in all the major NFL cities? Can't be a local expert because you scaled up to that point.
Yep.
Host code allows you to scale up without necessarily needing. It's good to be the local expert, but you don't need to be the local expert.
Yep. That's it.
Next slide. Next slide. Here we go. Let's get into this.
Hosts, brace yourselves. Airbnb's new 15.5% fee goes live October 27th, and it's all on you. So, what's changing? Airbnb's dumping the guest service fee. Now hosts eat a 15.5% cut from every payout, no exceptions. If you don't adjust, your profits shrink overnight, but don't panic. Pivot. Hospitable lets you auto markup rates, set your own buffer, or do nothing and still stay protected. Search ranking, safe. Airbnb now ranks by final price, not the fee split. We're boosting direct bookings, syncing with other platforms, and tracking real profit, not just bookings. If you're only relying on Airbnb, it's time to own your pipeline, your profits, and your brand. Let's level up, hosts.
All right, boys and girls, this is a big one. This is one that we're going to be talking about for at least another week, two. So y'all put your heads around it and y'all know how to adjust in the proper way. What's your understanding of what's going on, Cornell?
So am I right? If I'm right, Earl, I'm hearing that B&B is going to put this actual guest service fee on us on each payout at the end, not on at the end of the reservation, but when you get paid off the reservation, they're going to put it on us instead of the guest. Am I hearing that correct?
You have hit it correctly.
Okay. Hopefully, it's a way that around that, and you can't opt out of it. So it's not, but hopefully there's a way around that, hospitable or some type of way. So yeah, definitely. We'll spend a couple weeks talking about that and planning that out too. Sure.
Dante, you want to add on to that?
To me, it just doesn't make sense. The fact that we keep getting our profits cut into by the platform. I understand that it's guests first always because that's the industry we're in, which is hospitality. But at the end of the day, too, we are also the providers of these properties as well. Even though we're not the exact property owner, we're managing it. So we're giving them basically content to advertise. So I feel like they should think about us more than just being like money hungry and trying to get all the profits that they can for themselves,
Yeah. And again, we will talk more about this next week. But for context, over in Europe, over in Asia, Airbnb started this 2-3 years ago. Why? Because of the laws. See, the laws in those outside of the U.S., they don't allow you to have a sale price and then a tax and an additional fee. They require you to have one price. So the client, the end client, like we're as consumers in the U.S., we're okay. I'm taking my wife out to eat. Okay, all right, I get the bill. There was the price of the food. Okay, now here's the gratuity. Okay, now here's the tip. Okay, here's the tax. We're used to all of that, right? In other places, the laws are a little bit different. So the quote that you are given is all inclusive. That's the one price. So Airbnb is only kind of adjusting now to come online with everybody else. But there's a way around that, right? And the way that I'm recommending people in my community address it is make your hospitable rates just like we're gonna now be eating a 15% guest fee. All right. You can automate that in Hospitables by just taking your base rate and going up 5, going up 10, going up 15%. And for the guests, they don't know any different because all they care about is like a psychological thing. They just want to know, what is the end price going to be? What's the end price going to be? And as long as the guest doesn't see, well, I got paid, I got billed I got this one line is what I got billed. And then there's another line item I'm looking at. And now a third line item I'm looking at. Airbnb is trying to eliminate that buyer psychology where people,
Yep.
what do they call it? When you're being nickeled and what?
Done.
Nickel, people don't like that.
That's why but they're leaning it on us as hosts. So it's like,
Right.
yeah,
But
yeah.
here's the good news. We don't have to eat that if we don't choose to. We can pass it on to the client. But we just gotta be very strategic with that. You understand?
See,
All right. Again, this is hard to get your head around. That's why I've dedicated a couple sessions to kind of just break this down more. But this is just to get the conversation going. All right. So I want to make way. We got about 20 minutes before the top of the hour. And I've been very, very intentional in giving way to marketplace questions. Because I know they make a difference, especially when you're building a business. In fact, I'm looking at a comment in our community thread about someone who wants to be very targeted in our sessions around, and I wish he was on the call, around the acquisition side of it. So I'm gonna give way for you guys, throughout. There's no bad question, but what questions do you have with respect to the marketplace?
really
Right.
no question right now from me, Earl.
Okay. No, that's fair. That's fair. All right.
Same
So
here.
okay. All right. So no marketplace questions. All right. I'm not gonna create something that didn't exist. But again, I guess one of my key takeaways is um um most of you guys, if you haven't gotten directly from me, ask me for um my template that has all of our calls, the weekly calls, the Monday call, the Wednesday call. Those are the how-to calls. All right. This is not necessarily designed to be that. This is designed to be a little bit more about keeping you guys on the front side of the news cycle and how to respond to it. But if you don't necessarily know, how to set up your listing, how to use Facebook marketing, let me know and I'll send you in the right direction. But because those are all pre-recorded calls, it's not necessarily for me to reteach something that someone else has taught, unless you want me to do it in a one-on-one. So I want to ask now for us to just give way, maybe to a little entertainment, a little light side of Airbnb. Here's some fun facts. Here we go. True or false? True or false, everybody? In 2008, when Airbnb was born, out of a simple air mattress in San Francisco apartment, it carried within it the seed of $1 billion idea, proof that small beginnings often hold mighty destinies. Is any part of that statement false, or is this a true statement? What you think, Dante?
I believe this is false. because to my understanding, the creators of Airbnb, they just started with their actual house and just renting a room. I don't think it was like an apartment. I think it was a house, and I'm not too sure if it was in '08. I think it was like a little bit later. So I'm gonna go with
Mm,
false. Oh, it's
okay.
true. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah. It was weird because the whole premise of air, like when I first heard about air, I'm thinking it was because maybe the internet. But no, because they didn't actually have additional beds. They just had air mattresses. They thought about buying at the Home Depot. And because they had just used a convention, what's that convention called? Where it's all about comic book heroes. It's all about anime. What is that called?
Comic Con.
It was around that. And I guess like thousands of people, maybe hundreds of them, descend on the city just because it's so big. And these guys are hustlers. They they saw an opportunity to monetize it. As soon as they saw that they had proof of concept, because they were going to school for software. If you think about Airbnb as a business strategy, think about it. It's software, y'all. They don't own the property. They don't actually necessarily do anything of the of hardware in terms of the real estate, but just like Facebook, they built that infrastructure and they have the algorithm and they know how to connect people. They connect the end client to the property owner, or in this case, the property manager. So kudos to them. Kudos for being smart. That's the part of the American dream. The entrepreneurs, let's get it. Our next question: true or false? The first Airbnb guests stayed for free because the founders believed provisions would come without exchange.
I think that's false.
Come on, these are hustlers, man. They're about their dollars. They all paid, look, $80 each, showing that the right action and a fair exchange brings prosperity. Okay. All right. Let's get into the third question. And by the way, little shameless promotion. I'm about leaders or readers. These are some books I'm reading that I would recommend others. Book one is The Game of Life and How to Play It, written in 1925 by an author named Florence Scovel Shinn. All right, y'all didn't know I was really promoting books, but that's how I'm doing my Oprah right now. So these are books that I personally have gotten into, and they've made a difference. Book two, Your Word is Your Wand, 1928, a collection of affirmations and spoken word formulas for manifesting your desires. It's question three. True or false? By 2012, Airbnb had spread its wings across more than 25,000 cities worldwide, demonstrating that when an idea aligns with service, expansion is inevitable. Who wants to take a shot at that one?
I'm gonna say true.
100%. 100%. So it's interesting. I mean, because we think back, right? It started in 2008, and then in less than 10 years, right? In less than 10 years, they were over 2,500 cities. Sometimes we think that success is linear, but really no, not at all. Yeah, success is exponential. The hour you put in today, the hour you put in last week, it's not like an addition game. It's a multiplication game. That hour compounds to 2 hours. Those weeks compound to 3 hours. So we're not just talking about one being added to, We're talking about multiplication. We're talking about 2 to the square root of 3. Exponential growth is what you get when you just put your head down and you focus and you don't veer from the left or the right. Now, I know I'm speaking to the choir, but I'm really hoping that anybody that might be listening to us on Facebook or YouTube hears this. Never quit. Never quit. All right. Don't have a W-2 mindset. I work, I expect to get paid. I work another hour, I expect to get paid. That's not an entrepreneurial mindset. We have to work, 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 work. Still no pay. Work, 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 work. Still no pay. Work, work, work. Man, and then it starts raining. It starts raining provision. All right. All right, let's go to 1 or 2 more questions, and then we are going to be at the top of the hour. All right. True or false? Short-term rentals have always been embraced without resistance in every city with no need for permits or regulations. Oh my
False.
goodness. Yeah. Friends, opposition often appears as a stepping stone, not as a stop sign. Hear me clearly. The cities that have the most opposition to Airbnb actually have the most opportunity. Yeah, you might have to get a license. Yeah, you might have to kind of figure out where's the city limit. Okay, now I know where the city limit is. If I can find a property 1 mile outside of the city limit, I can still do the same thing. Oh my gosh, okay, that HOA is now allowing me to do what I wanted to do. Well, let me just find a neighborhood a mile or 2 outside of that HOA, and then it's game over. So don't think, one of the things I always ask you guys to do is take that address, throw it in Chat GPT, find out if it's STR friendly, not to discourage you, just so you actually know what you're working with. Because so you may have another opportunity that may be less than a mile or 2 away, but you don't know until you do the research. All right. Another opportunity for me to promote the power of spoken words. Power of Spoken Words was published in 1945. That explores how spoken affirmations and faithful words direct your life circumstance. I'm telling you, you guys got to drop. You guys got to drop some of the. And I'm not speaking to you guys directly because I know y'all about your business. But for the folks who are checking us out, man, hour here, 2 hours there on Facebook, just being entertained. Man, y'all gotta replace that habit. Y'all gotta put the right gas into the gas tank. Sometimes we put um uh garbage in equal garbage out, and we gotta put healthy stuff into our system. These books will allow you to think bigger and go beyond our self-limitation. Here's the final question. Final question. I think I got one. Oh no, that was the last one. I did 4. Okay. Well, cool. Not for anything. We are almost at the top of the hour, but we got a couple minutes left. I haven't done this segment in a while. Crazy but real guest interaction. Come on from you guys. What y'all got for our audience? What's a crazy but real situation that y'all dealt with?
I'll go first.
Yes, sir.
So when I first got my first property in Davenport, what I spoke about earlier, I had this lady do VRBO. I'm not gonna say her name, but basically, she booked through VRBO and everything was situated. And then afterwards, she wanted to keep extending and extending and extending. So I was saying, just keep like rebooking on the app because the insurance from the app is covered and everything else like that. But she was like, can we just do a direct booking instead so I could like save money like from the platform and just give it to you. And it made sense at the time, so I was like, okay, all right. But long story short, once I started sending the invoices, she wasn't paying, but
Oh my goodness.
she was still staying though. You know what I'm saying? So I gave her like a grace period of like a week or two, and then I had to enforce, you know, my policies, and I was like, hey, um, it's either you pay the invoices or you have to leave. Granted, there was a situation she was in that I won't get into, but regardless, false promises were made. So,
Mm,
and I was around like Thanksgiving time when that
mm.
happened. So that's why I was trying to be more lenient because, you know, it's the holidays. Obviously, you're spending time with your family and friends and things like that. So I wasn't trying to be too hard pressed on the issue. However, I am in business now. So I have a business to run. So long story short, I ended up losing like maybe like $1,000 because of the days that the unit was occupied that I couldn't promote because she was still in there. And it was just a learning lesson to um basically always book through the app until like I scale it like large enough so I'll be able to have my own direct booking website and things like that. And also at the time I didn't know about host code as well. Because if that was the case, I would have just done it through host code, have the insurance and things like that, you know. But I just had to learn how to maneuver better within the business. So it was definitely a learning lesson. But yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy, man. I don't know. Cornell, I don't know if you can top that. That's some crazy stuff right there. What you got, Cornell?
Man, that's crazy. I can't top that. But man, a crazy guest interaction I had was, I guess it wasn't crazy, but I told you all about my pest issue that I had in the home, which kind of was like the first time I had a pest issue coming from rooms to the whole house. And having a pest issue in the kitchen, having like a bug issue when it comes to like ants and small roaches. I actually got that taken care of. I got a deep clean, but that was crazy. But the guest was complaining about that. And even after we actually went over to my place and had our cleaners and ourselves to go over there to actually double check and clean the place, the guest continued to complain to get a refund. So I was like, wow. So even after we came over there and deep clean, they still complained and they wanted to get a refund in the middle of actual stay. But actually, what I learned from is that since we started off with private rooms, is that when you come from private rooms and you have multiple guests inside of your place, it's good to actually do a really good deep clean after you finish doing that from your private room guest. And then when you transfer over to the whole house, you already deep clean every room, you deep clean the living room, the kitchen, so that you can get those things and get all that food out of your refrigerator and things like that in your cabinets, in your cupboards. So when you have a whole house listing, it can be nice and clean. And that's what I should have did at first, and I really didn't have my housekeeping team do a deep clean. I should have had them do that, but that was a learning experience for me right there when it comes to pests. I don't know if you have like a similar story or when it comes to pest control and stuff, but that was my experience with it. So it wasn't too crazy, but it was something.
Yeah. No, I do. I have a crazy guest story, a pest story, but I gotta be honest with you. I'm trying to trump Dante. So I'm gonna keep that one in my back pocket. So Dante, I got one for you. So this is when we were a little less experienced in the midterm and short term um, strategy. So because we kind of didn't know that the room strategy actually makes a lot more sense for a midterm stay than it does for a short term stay. So we were trying to the long and the short of it is right now when I do room rentals, I typically do them in the low season, and I typically do them using platforms like Furnish Finder. When I do my short term strategy, I'm typically opening up the whole house, and I'm taking them right off of Airbnb. So so follow this. I get a booking from a lady for a room, and she books for like 10 people. And like red alert, red alert. She thinks she's booking the whole house, Cornell, and she's booking a room. Well, we clearly communicate to her, hey, lady, you have booked a room. Now this is a big room, but it ain't that big. Is that really what you want to do? You want to end your in your reservation? We'll give you a full refund. No, no, no. This is what I want. Well, lady, okay, well, here's what we might be able to do. We have some air mattress. It's a big room. It was one of our attic rooms. So if you can imagine an attic fully renovated, that's a lot of space. So we could put 3 air mattresses up there plus the bed. All right. Now my wife is always, her spider sense is always better than mine. She's like, baby, we should cancel this book. I'm like, oh, babe, we don't want to cancel the booking because we don't want the Airbnb charge. So instead of me discouraging the booking, I kind of went the other way. So y'all, she gets there and it's almost like she had amnesia, that we kept telling her this is a room rental. You don't have access to the whole house. So, like the situation is when you have a room rental, you basically have your cleaner come in the day of and spruce up everything, which we did, but you're still living with other individuals, like a hostile situation. The long and the short of it, she hustled me. She gets in the place, nothing but one complaint after another. I ended up, just for the sake of peace, because she was trying to say I have mold in the building, in the bathroom specifically. And obviously, if I was aware of the mold, like I had other guests inside the property, some guests was as long as 3 months or more, nobody said anything about it. But she's there less than 3 hours, less than 2 hours, whatever. She finds mold. Well, so really, she kind of trumped all that as a way of justifying Airbnb giving her money back. So I took a loss there, right? I took a loss, all right, because I didn't rebook the space. But then Airbnb recognized that I had another property, and they're trying to get this person recalibrated or reorganized. They asked me if I can relocate her at my other property. Obviously, it wasn't what I wanted to do, but under the circumstances, I did it. Do you know this woman gave me a 1 in my review? She gave me a 1
She's
for
ungrateful.
So the property that I positioned was nothing at all the issue. So the property she ended up staying in, she ended up giving me a 1, thinking that she was rating me on the property that Airbnb gave her the refund for. Slap in the face, y'all. Slap.
Yep, definitely.
So on that note, I've learned a few things. When a person thinks that they have the whole house and they really don't, kill the booking as quickly as you can. Kill it.
Yeah.
Kill it.
It's one thing or like one quote that stands out to me. I believe it's from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He said, in order to win, you must first learn how to lose. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like everybody who's successful has to go through trials and tribulations like the ones we described, So
Well
definitely
said.
makes us stronger.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said. On that note, Dante, once you leave this out, man, one takeaway that you got from the broadcast today. One takeaway.
One takeaway would just be don't get left behind. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, we're in a very, very beautiful community, so we're gonna help each other out. But it's up to us to apply the knowledge that we obtain during these calls. So that would be my biggest takeaway.
Good stuff. Chime in, Cornell. One takeaway for you.
One takeaway for me is basically, I would say, pivot. And what I mean when I say pivot is that, when new things happen, changes happen, sort of like, with this guest, service fee percentage, with, Airbnb changing their rules, and different things like that. We just got to learn how to pivot, even if we're pivoting to, other platforms, even if we're pivoting into our direct booking website, just got to pivot and change along with the changes to actually stay in the game, to keep ahead of the game and keep leveling up and, just, moving forward, and not really just stand put and being stagnant, right? So, that's a major takeaway that I had for tonight. And just, really staying close to the fire as well. And what I mean by when I say close to the fire, staying close to the community, right? Getting the information that we need from the community to stay updated on these changes so we can actually know what to actually do for our next move and know what direction to pivot in by staying close to the community, having that updated information. So we're not going off of information from a while back or months ago or a while ago. So we're staying up to date. So yeah, that's my definitely my takeaways for tonight. Staying close to community and actually pivoting to get to that next stage and adapting to these changes.
I like this, Cornell, because you took what my thought was, but then you added more to it. So my thought was, being informed, just kind of knowing where the wind is blowing. But information don't mean nothing without the application, and that's what you're saying. Pivot. So yeah, well said, guys. Well said. Well, I appreciate you guys. We're at the top of the hour. That's a wrap. Episode 61 is in the books. As you guys know, my motto is one thing to be blessed, but it's better to have blessings come through you than just to you. So y'all bless others. Bless others. Take care. Good night, everybody. All right.
Good
Good night. Good night.
We are the generation.